Hi, good afternoon, everyone. This is Baja Pips. Today is Saturday, June 7th, 2025. It's currently 12:06 p.m. Eastern China time, and I'm going to be doing a weekly technical breakdown, and I'm also going to be going over my top step results. I just passed my trading combine, so congrats to myself, pat myself on the back for that. And yeah, it's just another milestone achieved, and I'm very, very happy with myself, very satisfied with my performance. So I'm going to go over a performance review a little bit later in the video, and I'm going to be going over some breakdowns. I'm going to go over the current state of the U.S. economy, go over the dollar index, NASDAQ, S&Ps, go over gold, and just want to follow up with y'all. I normally have these videos from my inner circle traders. So I do have an inner circle membership, but the current website is currently down as I'm working on integrating everything, possibly to a new web developer. So I want to include some courses for the inner circle, and my current website developer is only limited to certain tools. So I might have to start from scratch. So that's why the website is currently down. It's just a slight delay, but I'm working on that. But right now, I'm going to go over some TradingView charts, try to keep this video short and sweet, under 30 minutes if I can. And I'm also going to go over, like I said, go over my top step combine that I just passed. I am now officially a certified funded trader. I have my funded account now, and I'm very, very excited for next week. I'm going to take my time. I'm going to go over my emotions, my moods, everything. So yeah, let's get started, y'all. Gonna share my screen. It's been one heck of a journey, by the way, but I'm officially funded, which is awesome. Should be able to see my screen in just a moment. All right. So here's my US dollar index. You can see it's through capital.com, just a random, thing on this website. Yeah, I'm just going to break down what I see and what I expect, what I project. First time really breaking this down. So bear with me while I get things set up. All right, there we go. Y'all should be able to see everything without my face blocking it. So yes, the DXY, very bearish. Now it has been ranging. So the last time it visited some all-time highs was back in January. Had a nice rally from some lows in October, and price kept on rallying. At that point, it broke out to all-time highs. People believed it was going to remain bullish. So here's the lows. It was a very smooth uptrend. What happened? Up, down, very smooth uptrend. Started getting a little bit hesitant, but it did continue to break newer highs. Then price suddenly started crashing once the market started having all that news about stock market potentially crashing. And this is a lot of global events happened, especially after Trump came in, and we can see that the downtrend just continued. So what do we have after the October lows was broken? Is we have some range lows. So of course there's the range lows. These are now current swing high or current highs of the range, and price is on a potential breakout of that range. Now, it hasn't fully broken out of that range, but it is possible. I'm gonna go to the weekly and monthly time frame next, to go on a broader scope, but this is what I'm seeing in the immediate current term right now. The past year, we just been in a big range, and we don't know what's going to happen next. Now, there was some news about Trump and Epstein files and Elon Musk and Trump getting into some beef. Honestly, that has absolutely nothing to do with the future movement of the dollar index. Two men arguing back and forth. It doesn't even matter if it's the president. It has absolutely nothing to do. It's just a filler just for people to panic or whatever. You know, it's fundamentals, and it has nothing to do with what is already inevitable going to happen. So we do see that late April, price did drop and it broke out of that range. There was a retest coming in right here in mid-May, and then what's happening right now as we are in June is the retest is currently failing. So for me, I need to see May highs taken out, and I need to see price stay within this range for me to look for some longs. So I need to see something like this for price to potentially stay in the range, and that will be a safe haven for the dollar for the time being. But let's just see a couple things that I did notice, and it is a red flag. Okay, so as the dollar broke out that range, I do have a setup, which is an RBR north right here, higher swing low. It popped on up, and that was a trigger. Price did end up going up, but it did not fully go up to 2R, because my trigger would have been right here, stop loss. I'm actually going to mark it off on the chart so I can show y'all. Moment. Well, master your setups and trading is going to be so much simpler. This right here is about 94 to like 1.5. 2R is like 3. Okay, so let's get back to the Google Meet tab. All right, so this is what we're seeing. Price had a nice little attempt to break on up, and it failed. So what ended up happening next was there was a DP North, which is a second chance long entry for me if I were to go into this trade, and it's currently failing. So if price is in a weirdly gray area right now. If price breaks May lows, we're more than likely going to see the start of a potential bear market, a real bear market, and that's going to be real scary for dollar holders. So what else could happen is buyers could surge, take it on up. I need to see 102s taken out before I confirm a possible rally back into the range, and that could be good news for the dollar. So that's what I am currently counting on. As of now, based off of this chart alone, the dollar index is currently in a gray area. It could go bearish. We are currently seeing lows tested. Anything could make that dollar slip next week. It's going to be a pretty big week. We already had NFP, and yeah, we just have to wait. So don't be too optimistic on the dollar yet. And to be honest, I'm still bullish overall for the dollar. The reason why is, let's take a look at the longer term now. So when we're looking at this weekly chart, we're also in a range. It was bullish, but the conditions did change. So we see price, it did have a sudden break north, and then the market pretty much stopped. It's a little triggers right here, and it did end up going to its 2R, and then it's coming back down. So perfect range, but it's broken that low, the range, retested, and is currently on its way down on the weekly. This is the first time in a couple years that price is actually setting up for a bearish run. As you can see, it was bullish back in July 2021, and this is like a 4-year pause. It was a nice rally after COVID, and then it just went sideways. So that's going to be something to look out for in the upcoming weeks. I don't know personally, but to me, this could pop back up in the range. I'm very neutral on this. Not super bullish at all, though, but I'm not very bearish because I just don't know yet. We need to see some more clear setups before. So it might take the next several weeks for us to really get a clear answer. Hopefully I make a few payouts to my prop firm by then and get ready for the big craziness that's gonna happen. Lastly, let's take a look at the monthly. The monthly is also pretty interesting. So here we have a broader scope, and this is like a 10-year view. When I'm looking at the monthly chart, what do I see? The dollar index has been pretty bullish, but it also ranges for years. So we have a multi-year range from 08 all the way through 2015-ish. Popped on up, got a little bullish, multi-year range all the way like 5 years. Popped on up 2022, 2023-ish, and it's been in a multi-year range. So it does have that, it has that characteristic. That's just how the context has been looking. It's bullish overall. It pops up every once in a while, then it goes into a multi-year range. What's different about this is that, let me go back to my tab. What's different about this sorry, I'm just waiting for my thing to load. Okay. Is this rally in 2014 was backed up slightly. How would I say? It's like a little nothing here. This is absolutely nothing going on. Kind of was like late 2018. There was a nice little rally right there, and it did hit its target. And then it stalled out, and this is when it really started ranging, was like 2018. 2018 was when it really started ranging, and there was another little buy right here, and that was a really nice rally in 2022. And then we have let's see, price didn't really take off after that. Now it's testing these range highs back in 2017. So what ended up happening is resistance should turn into support. And what we're seeing is there's like another buy trigger right here. And the market never went to 2R. And not only that, but it did stop out that buy trigger right around here. So this would be my DP North, and it still failed to go to 2R. I'm going to mark on the chart now so you can see visually what that 2R would look like according to my setups. I always say according to my setups because it doesn't really matter what other people's setups are. You got to focus on your own. This is 4.13, so give it about like 6. This is the hard stop, and it's just hitting that hard stop, by the way. But 2R is like way up here, like all-time highs. So it had a distance. It had quite a while left to go before the 2R hit. And not only that, but this DP North is currently being tested. So this bull rally is officially over. And what that might mean is that we might start declining into a true bear market any day, any month, any week. Any type of news can tip the iceberg and send stocks tumbling. So that DP, which is got to go back to it right here. This is my DP setup. 3.1, so about 4.5. Yep, it's over. So this is a red flag, and this is what y'all need to pay attention to. This is a major red flag event happening right here, right now. The dollar index has officially entered range bound territory. Now, what that means is like we may not crash right away. As a matter of fact, I think it's still going to take a lot of bearish events that's going to unfold, like the ICE raids and all this stuff that the Trump administration started incorporating. I think that was intentional. Yes, he's trying to clean the country, but now people are rioting. There is a real potential civil war, and people thought it was going to be between whites and blacks and, you know, whatever. But the reality is the real civil war is going to be between the government and the people. People are actually starting to protest, and I don't think it's smart. The reason why is like I understand people are emotional, and this is my own opinion. I understand people are emotional, but you cannot get emotional, especially with a higher power. The government is strategic. The people are emotional. They don't want to see these immigrants, migrants, not immigrants, migrants get, because I was an immigrant and I was here legally, had my green card and everything before I got my citizenship. But these migrants, legal or illegal, getting deported. And I understand the emotion because I also don't rock with that. It's like the way I feel is if you're there, you know, like you made it there, you got there. But at the same time, government is the government. Like if you pull up to any country illegally, you will be dealt with. Like you can't do that out here in China. They'll find your butt and you get penalized. So I understand how the rules work. And if you coming across borders illegally, I mean, you are breaking the law. So I understand both sides. And that's why I say this is more of like a civil dispute. People are here illegally and they are trying to deal with it. And we'll see what happens. But that's just one side of the news. You know, you got Russia, Israel, the US, NATO. You know, you got real potential war stirring up. Like this is gonna be something interesting. That's why I was already got my bags packed and I've been out for years because I already seen like things starting to unfold. And plus, I just like to travel, but I'm just saying, like, if you're there now, you better have some alternative options because the way I see this is it's gonna retest these range lows. And these range lows go all the way back to like post Iraq war. So these little highs, this little area right here, this is where we're going next. $88. And that's a 20% decline, if not more, like a 30% decline. And that's huge. And I do believe we may continue ranging from that point. But that's going to send a shockwave because if you look at COVID made a decline from 100 to 88 before, and that was a global pandemic. So this is going to be an even bigger drop. And that's what I was saying. Like, it's going to send shockwaves. So if you thought COVID was a big event, more than likely, something else is going to make this go down and test these range lows. And if it holds, cool. I'm hoping for it to hold. I don't want the dollar to crash. I don't want it to decline. I don't want the people to suffer. I'm not that type of pessimistic person. But this is just the reality, and I go by what's on the charts. Now, if this range lows don't hold, we may be in for a true bear market where price spikes through there, retests it, and sets up for some real shorts. And we don't want to go down to Iraq war. That's when I believe it's going to be a real World War III where the US may get involved. This is World War III time. Okay. Whatever's happening here to here might be Civil War time. And from here to here, global warfare. So we don't know. Elon Musk and this little Terminator stuff he be creating and all this beef with the president. A lot of stuff might happen. You don't want to piss off a grown child. Like, he's like a grown man, but he's still a boy, you know. Like, don't get him upset. Don't deport him or whatever they got going on because he got money and he's one of them smart kids. Like, you pick on them smart kids in school, what they do, they pull up to school with the drummer, with the drums, you know. So just saying, like, I ain't trying to like hope for things to happen, but this is the start. I'm just putting in my little opinions and feedback, but stay put. If you do start seeing those 90 lows being taken out or even being tested, yeah, y'all might want to go on a nice long vacation and think about working remotely, because things might get a little rough. And that's my breakdown with the US dollar index. Now, I'm going to make this a little bit faster, and I'm going to go over the NASDAQ. So I'll go over NQ because I trade futures, NASDAQ E-mini, and bullish. Very, very bullish. But one thing that I want to note is there's no buy trigger. So we don't know how long this is going to go up. All I know is this is super bullish on the monthly. But we do know what goes up must come down, and rallies look good in hindsight, but in real time, this could soar way back down to 16,000. The fact that it even tapped 16,000 is questionable. So on the monthly time frame, it's very unclear for NASDAQ, but that's usually how things are. To me, I haven't seen a clear buy trigger on this pair since freaking 2023, when I would have gotten in a long. Always going to show my setups because that's just how I do. But yeah, there was a long right here. Team, go about 21. Yep, that's how I became a pro trader, y'all. Funded pro traders. I mastered my setups. I can call it out on any pair, any time frame, any time of the day. You challenge me, throw me a challenge, and I'll be able to break something down. I could be right or wrong, but I know what I'm reading and I know what I'm doing and how to react. So yeah, that was a 2R for that. And as you can see, the way I see the NASDAQ and the S&Ps, it's way overbought. Oh, there we go. I don't know what happened there. My whole computer froze. I think it's time for a new laptop. All right, there we go. You can see my hand. So it's way overbought. And that is a red flag. I don't want to buy this when it's an overbought territory. I need a pullback, a clean pullback, something else. So be careful with this. Let's go into a smaller time frame so we can see finer detail, because this is a monthly chart. Let's break down the NASDAQ on the weekly, and S&P is similar. Like, I don't need to break them both down. They both move similar. This is bullish on the weekly chart. This is actually a nice rally, but there was a very sharp decline, and this is an acceleration into July 2024 lows. This was actually an acceleration. I'm going to draw the impulse and correct waves in just a second. So that was the first drop. As you can see, it was pretty big, but this second drop was even bigger. So for me, I don't like buying, even though it is a trigger north. I do not like buying when I see an acceleration to the downside, because my question is, after this large rally down, why did it pull back and make a higher low? Why didn't it just make another lower low with a smaller acceleration before popping in and taking off to the upside? So that's a red flag. It could continue bullish, absolutely, but I would be careful with this trigger. So this is one of those triggers that I might personally skip myself unless I'm feeling a little impulsive and taking. So NASDAQ on the weekly, it is bullish, 100,000%, but I think it's more ranging than anything else. Let me just take a example, and I'm not trying to find setups. This is what I see. There's a down move, a pop up, down move, pop up. Nah, nothing up here. It was kind of sloppy. The last rally that I actually would have bought into would have been down here. Had a low decline, pop, pullback. Yeah, that's my trigger right there. So that kept rallying, and there was no pullback ever since. So I do believe we may test 2024 lows, and that may happen. And if that does happen, some big event has to happen for that to really move. So we are bullish. We are in a bull market for the NASDAQ, but it's very questionable. Let me go on to the daily chart, and then I'll finally wrap this up with gold. So the daily chart, interesting. We are bullish. Once again, there's a little trigger right here, and I would be triggered in basically right around this area. So 20,000s are tested, and it tries to rally again from that, and it fails. Then 100% we may be in for a sharp decline. Right now though, I would be in buys, I would be in longs. Maybe we go and retest 2025 highs, all-time highs. And yeah, we could in fact continue on up if this is optimistic, but this is major resistance. And be very careful, because last time it tested resistance, we had that big of a crash. So just judging by the nature of what's been happening, we are in a giant range. And it's not like we've seen a clean rally this whole chart. We've seen a rally from the lows, and that's it. When you're looking at the bigger picture though, whoops, it's a range. Look at it. Lows, highs, lows retested, highs. I don't know. Maybe we see 16,000 tested and broken. You feel me? But these highs, this is not a bull market on this chart for the past couple of years. It has been in a range. So I would be very careful. And, you know, if I'm right, more than likely, we're going to reject these highs and come back into a range. That's what we've been doing, is rejecting highs and coming back to new lows. So we might even see lower lows. If we do break, I need to see it hold these highs, turn it to support around 22,500-ish. And I need to see a nice thrust to the upside. And that's the NASDAQ. S&P is very similar. I don't need to break them all down. I want to save time. Now let's look at gold. Lastly, gold is bullish. Hands down, gold is bullish. Let me find a different gold chart, because I have a lot of notes on this one. GC1. Gold futures clear. All right. So gold is bullish. As y'all can see, very bullish, very bullish. I'm going to mark up where my last buy trigger would have been based on this chart. So a nice little drop down there, pop right there, DP North. Yep, I see it. I said, if you want to be a pro trader, you got to master your setups. No, there's no excuses. Like someone that says, oh yeah, you know, I just go off the signals that I get, but they don't really know how to call it at any moment. That's a cap. I know all my setups, even if I'm wrong. Like I know how to identify them. I know where they are on the charts. I understand context. Like it's been a journey. We're gonna talk about that in a moment. But yeah, let's talk about gold real quick, cover this, and then I'm gonna go into my other software so I can, because I can't log into my Top Step on VPN, and that's what I'm using on my Google. It's VPN. All right, so boom, DP North triggers. What's that stop loss looking like? You can see it's barely even up 1 hour. 3.2. We're gonna do like 4.5. See, I'm able to just, I know I can make my calls. 2R for that is like way up here. 2R is like my minimum for me to see that the context is holding. So yeah, we've been bullish, but this is in a DP North. This is a nice buy trigger. I will 100%, 100,000% be long right now on gold. It's a little pullback right now. End of last week was a little bearish, but I do believe that with the weekend and the news coming out, I believe it's gonna take off and thrust on to the upside for new all-time highs following the decline of the dollar. So give us some time. We are bullish still. I'm going to be looking for buys all into next week when I'm intraday trading on gold, but I might, until I start seeing like these lows holding, I need to see like a bullish day. So Monday, for example, I may not trade gold because we are currently experiencing a little decline. And what that means for me is that it might be a little choppy. I'm sure I'll still be able to find some solid buys on gold, but it might be a little choppy, and that could be questionable. So for me, I might just trade New York session on Monday, or I'll trade the Euro USD or something. But that's gold right there. Bullish on the daily. I have no doubts about that continuing to go up. I do believe it's going to go up. Looking at the weekly and monthly on gold, very bullish, very bullish. It actually just had a nice little trigger right here on the weekly. So that's what I was saying too. Like we could see a nice. We'll see what the weekend has, because this doesn't show the weekend bars. So it shows Monday. Yeah. So yeah, that last week was bullish. So yeah, we'll see what Monday has. But I'm very bullish on gold. I do believe this is a very nice, very strong trigger, very strong signal to the upside. If I'm looking at the weekly chart, I would have been in as of last week. And just measuring this real quick, 3.5, so 4, about 6. 2R for this. I'm always going to say this. You got to master your setups if you really want to take this to the next level. I sat down there day by day, struggling, learning this. All right. So about 3,700, 3,800s. I believe that's going to be the next target on gold on the weekly. Super bullish. No, buy gold. That's just it. Buy gold. Like gold is super bullish. But I am going to break down this monthly chart. Buy gold. Okay. Freaking buy gold. Like that's what you need to do. Just buy gold. That's what we're going to get is gold longs. And hey, would you be selling this? What type of idiot is going to sell that? You feel me? This is what you need to see on the prior charts with the US dollar index and NASDAQ. This is a rally. This is the bull market. And this is a super strong bull market. You don't know when it's going to stop. Like this thing is going to keep going, and you don't. This took off like a rocket. Everyone's talking about Bitcoin. Yo, y'all been sleeping on gold. Don't sleep on gold. Like, and then when gold rallies like this, chances are something's going to happen. Like, when was the last time you seen a gold rally? Because gold is reserve, global reserve. People invest in gold. And look, this was pre-Iraq war. That was the last time gold ever rallied like that, was the Iraq war. So look at this. This is the biggest rally we've ever seen on gold. Be careful. Something's happening right now. Something is cooking up in the world, and y'all better be prepared. Right now, all I know is I'm going to be stacking on my capital. I'm now officially a certified funded trader. I'm going to take my time, but I'm going to start collecting my bread, putting it into some reserves. I'm going to enjoy the world for what it is right now. I'm going to just definitely be traveling and, living. I don't think it's going to go crazy right now, but give it like a year or two and something's going to happen. And those of you that's been comfortable, take a look at this gold chart. Don't be thinking, oh, gold's at all-time highs, the world's going to be great. No, gold should be going down or ranging if the world economy is stable. If gold is rallying like this, the world economy is unstable. So be careful. And that's it. I do want to break down the Euro USD, because I will be this is like my alternative for let me look at the Euro futures. This is my alternative for gold when I do trade. It's either Euro or NASDAQ, S&P. So I just want to take a look at this on the daily chart, and I'll be done with this half of the video. I might just make a short video next covering my I don't like this spotty. Let me just do Euro USD Forex. Too spotty. Why not? I'll do a separate video for my top step. Apologies, y'all. I went on a little bit longer than expected, but it's okay. So Euro dollar, just breaking this down real quick. It has been ranging for quite a few months. We broke out that range. We retested. little rally right here. It did go to its 2R. Yeah, I think euro dollar is going to be bullish. Just might have to wait. I'm not going to trade Asia session on Monday just because I do believe it might be a little choppy at the start of the week because we did close off a little bearish, as y'all can see. And if I'm bullish and there's a conflict and it's going bearish, what I do think is going to happen is it's just looking for a bottom to continue north, and we don't know. So if I'm buying it while it's kind of pulling back right now, that can be red flag. So I'll follow up with y'all on the next video. Peace.